Hello, everyone. Today we are going to discuss flood insurance. My name is Pamela Moats. I am the Flood Product Manager. I oversee the National Flood Insurance Program for Philadelphia Insurance Companies. Also with me today is Thomas Phillips, who is the Vice President of WNC Insurance Services. Thomas will be discussing our commercial primary flood program and our commercial excess flood program. So today I'm going to discuss for the National Flood Insurance Program the April 1st, 2018 changes, and then I'm going to go over flood maps and how to use them. For the April 1st, 2018 changes, there are rate increases. The pre-firm subsidized rate policies for the primary residences in special flood hazard zones, all of the A's and all of the V's, they will see a 5% rate increase. The other pre-firm subsidized policies not subject to 25% annual increases, these are primarily your condominium policies and multifamily policies. These premiums will increase 5% with a total increase of 5%. For non-primary residences and special flood hazard zones, all of your A's and your V zones, they will see a combined premium increase for 24% with a total increase of 22%. Other pre-firm subsidized policies subject to 25% annual increases as required by Biggert-Waters 2012, premiums will increase slightly less than 25%, primarily due to the impact of rounding. The overall increase for these categories is about 23%. Your A99 and your AR zone policies not eligible to use preferred risk premiums will increase 2% with a total increase of 1%. Post-firm V zones will see a premium increase of 11%. Post-firms in zones A1 through A30 and AE premiums will increase 1%. Post-firm zones AO, AH, AOB, and AHB premiums will not change. Standard rated policies in Zone X will see a 2% increase with a total increase of 1%. Now to go on to flood maps. As our climate is changing, flooding is more prevalent than ever and the most common natural disaster. Pulling a flood zone determination may not be enough information for your insured to make a well-informed decision to purchase flood insurance. Pulling a flood map is easier than ever. So what you want to do is you want to go to the https msc.fema.gov and the portal search. And what I've typed in is an address in Cleveland, Ohio. And then what you do is click the search button. When you click the search button, you will come up with, the screen will give you a map, and it will have a small indicator as to where your building is located within that map, and then you will be able to print a format of that map, which then you can show to your insured. When you print the format, it will come up with the National Flood Hazard Layer format, and this will show you that darker blue aqua area is your flood zone AE. And then where your pinpoint is, where the building is located, it shows that that building is in a zone X. So this gives the information to your insured that they are very close to an AE, a high-risk flood zone, but the building is actually located in the X zone. So you would rate it in the X zone, but be mindful to your insured and let them know that they are very close to a high hazard area. Another example of a flood map, this is of Pinellas Park, Florida, and this sometimes is what you will see in higher areas where there is a large concentration of low-lying or high risk of flooding, and you will see the aqua areas, that's your zone AE, your higher risk flood zone, and your brown areas, that's your shaded X zone, which is just out of your zone A area, and the rest of that is zone X. So now you'll see that if you give this information to your insured, and where you can see where the red dot is located, that's where your building is located, and that it is surrounded by a lot of aqua area, which is your high-risk flood zone. So on this map, you would extremely suggest to your insured to purchase a flood policy. Now I'm going to have Thomas go over our commercial primary flood product. Thomas?
Hello, everyone. This is Thomas Phillips with WNC Insurance Services. We'll be discussing the Philadelphia Commercial Primary Flood Product and Excess Flood Product. The Tokyo Marine policy will be a standalone single peril policy. This program will target locations that are eligible for the National Flood Insurance Program. The Philly commercial flood coverages and rates are more favorable than the NFIP. Philly has chosen WNC as a partner to help develop and administer the program because of our experience and knowledge in the administration of private flood insurance programs. WNC is headquartered in Pasadena, California, and is a wholly owned subsidiary of Tokyo Marine Kiln, a subsidiary of Tokyo Fire and Marine. The Philly Flood Program will be written on Tokyo Marine Surplus Lines Insurance Company paper. WNC will provide the underwriting and pricing of individual accounts. Program eligibility. Acceptable exposures are office buildings, hotel motels, apartment complexes, restaurants, shopping centers, light manufacturing, municipalities, risks with replacement value under $15 million, religious organizations, and nonprofits. Unacceptable exposures are coastal locations, property subject to storm surge and a Category 3 hurricane or less, high-valued risks with a TIV in excess of $15 million, risks with prior flood losses, NEV flood zone, residential condominiums, or single-family dwellings. The coverages and deductibles in the program, there's a $5 million combined limit. Out of that $5 million, $1 million can be applied to business personal property and $100,000 to business income. Maximum property limit written will be $5 million total. Deductibles will range from $1,000 up to $100,000. Higher deductibles may be available upon request. Rating. All policies are individually rated based on a property's location, flood zone, elevation, foundation, number of floors, construction type, loss history, and the community's loss history. The workflow process. Producers will submit the following information to a dedicated email folder, which is phillyflood@wncfirst.com. A completed Tokyo Marine commercial flood application, copy of the primary flood declaration page if available, copy of an elevation certificate if available. Turnaround time is 24 hours, typically less. Finding process. A producer must obtain a separate appointment with WNC even if they're already appointed with Philadelphia Insurance Company. You would submit a copy of your agency's license and the agency E&O deck page. Once appointed, you will need to mail the following documents to WNC to bind coverage: completed and signed Tokyo Marine flood application, surplus lines affidavit if required, net premium check. The check can be made payable to Philadelphia Insurance Company and mailed to our Miami, Florida office. Endorsement and cancellation process, or any change to a policy, can be submitted to the dedicated folder, which is phillyflood@wncfirst.com. Claim filing information. To report a flood claim, the insured agent will contact phillyfloodclaims@wncfirst.com. These claims will be handled by Precise Adjustments, which is fully owned by WNC Insurance Services. The commercial primary marketing information. To obtain marketing information, go to philly.com, products and services, flood coverage, commercial primary flood, and there you will find the commercial primary flood application, 10 Reasons Why brochure, and the highlight sheet. Agency commission are 15%, and book rollovers are negotiable. The contacts for the commercial primary and excess flood programs at WNC are Thomas Phillips, myself, Scarlett Asori, Lauren Savage, and Tracy Reed. At Philadelphia, it's Neil Schmidt and Diane Furster. The Commercial Primary Flood Program advantages to an agency. It eliminates the need for two flood policies, primary and excess, due to higher limits being available. There's an ease of doing business, no elevation certificates are required, no photos are required, easier cancellation process, and easier quote process. There's the ability to schedule multiple locations, multiple buildings onto one flood policy as long as they're within the same state. This eliminates the need for multiple policies for one insured. A solution to obtain enhanced flood coverage for non-coastal location that would not fit into the commercial package policy. If the risk does not fit into the Philly Commercial Flood Program, the risk will be submitted to the NFIP product manager. You will then be sent an email with your NFIP login instructions or a setup packet to write NFIP coverage with Philadelphia. Business currently written through the NFIP can be submitted for a price indication by forwarding a copy of the current flood declarations page. Tokyo Marine flood application will be required if coverage is desired. This program is not subject to congressional authorization. The Philly Flood Program is not subject to FEMA zone remappings. Give it a try. Send 5 submissions to WNC and see your results. The Tokyo Marine Excess Flood Program key benefits: competitive rates, ability to place coverage on risks that are declined for primary coverage. Risks with prior flood losses may be eligible depending on the amount of the loss. Replacement cost coverage on building and contents. Business income coverage available, max $100,000 per building. Ability to schedule locations to one policy. Same state rule applies to the excess program as well. There is the ability to self-insure primary limits if an insured desires to do so. Acceptable exposures for the program are office buildings, churches, places of worship, hotel motels, apartment complexes, restaurants, shopping centers, light manufacturing, municipalities, risks with a replacement value under $25 million. Unacceptable exposures for the program are high-valued risks with a TIV in excess of $25 million, risks with a prior flood loss in excess of $150,000, water, sewage treatment facilities, residential condos, single-family dwellings, risks located in CBRA areas, which stands for Coastal Barrier Resource Area, risks within the NFIP emergency program, or any building built over water. Coverages and deductibles. $5 million limit is available for buildings. Out of that $5 million limit, $1 million can be applied to business personal property and $100,000 for business income. The maximum property limit combined is $5 million. Deductibles are $250,000 or $500,000 depending on the number of units in an apartment building. Everything else will be commercial and a $500,000 deductible. Higher deductibles may be available upon request. Underwriting factors for the program. All policies are individually rated based on a property's location, flood zone, elevation, foundation, number of floors, construction type, loss history, and community's loss history. The Tokyo Marine Excess Flood Program product resources. Tokyo Marine Excess Flood application. All excess flood submissions will be sent to the same facility that commercial primary flood submissions are sent to, which is phillyflood@wncfirst.com. Frequently asked questions. To be clear, this is written on Philadelphia paper or Tokyo Marine paper. It's non-NFIP written on Tokyo Marine specialty paper, whether primary or excess. Is there a minimum premium? $500 is the program's minimum premium. Where do we submit an application to WNC? Submissions are sent to phillyflood@wncfirst.com. Can you offer blanket coverage? No blanket coverage is available, but we can offer scheduled limits. Are improvements and betterments part of building or contents in your form? If you have a contents-only policy in the NFIP, 10% can be applied to improvements and betterments. Additionally, there is a separate policy solely for improvements and betterments. Do you require pictures with submissions? No photos are required. Is the commission 15% or 17% or something other? The commercial program on Tokyo Marine paper, primary or excess, is a 15% commission. Would contents in a basement be coverage? No, there is not coverage for contents in a basement on a primary or excess policy. What states is Philadelphia writing in? All states but the state of Louisiana. Is there a specific application for this product? Yes, it can be found at philly.com under Products and Services. Is business income covered under the primary program? It is available subject to underwriting up to $100,000 per building limit. Is a nonprofit risk that occupies a single-family dwelling, residential care facility ineligible? It would be ineligible if occupied as a single-family dwelling, regardless of the form of ownership. Questions from the crowd? We thank you for your time.